When salt enters the environment, it's really difficult, if not almost impossible, to remove.
Salt is really hard on concrete.
Salt can corrode infrastructure and cause other things that result in the infrastructure deteriorating more rapidly, and so then that increases our need for maintenance.
Also, we have pets, and our pets are spend time outdoors, and salt is just really hard on their paws. If they lick their paws, they ingest the salt, which is really toxic for them. And then third, about maybe 300 feet this way is actually 9 Mile Creek. And so we're really careful because we don't want salt running into the waterway because it's detrimental to all of our wildlife there.
9 Mile Creek was listed by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency as impaired for chlorides, and that occurred a number of years ago, and so the city has been active at trying to reduce the amount of chloride that we put into the environment.
So we learned about the effects of salt on the environment a couple of years ago when we signed up for the Adopt a Drain program. And so we looked into alternatives for what could be a little bit better than that, and we found that sand was an option. We know that it doesn't totally melt the snow like salt does, but what we've enjoyed about it is that you can actually sweep it up and collect it when we're done using it. We try to be really selective about where we use it as well, so we try to just stick to our front steps, the sidewalk, areas where we really need traction, and that's what sand does better for us is traction than melting the snow.
The other thing to be aware of is that as the temperatures decrease, salt becomes less and less effective. And so using sand or gravel or something like that is probably going to be a better bet. One way to reduce the amount of salt that's put out in the environment is to remove the snow to the best of your ability first, before you put salt down. This year, with the amount of snow that we've had thus far and expecting to likely see more here over the rest of the winter, mailboxes, fire hydrants, even catch basins in the street can become things that are buried. Mailboxes typically are the responsibility of the residents to maintain access for the mail carrier. The city does its best to try to push the snow as far as possible, but similar to everybody else, we're running out of places to push that snow, and so it can become difficult. We encourage neighbors to be neighborly.
It's one of the best things to come home from work and have your driveway already cleared from a neighbor who has their snowblower out and just did a nice thing to help remove the snow.
The same with fire hydrants. If an emergency happens and the fire crew has to clear that fire hydrant, that can take away seconds, which can be the difference in an emergency situation. Catch basins in the street, when it does rain or when we get melt events, ensuring that those are opened up and are able to take the drainage can prevent surface flooding and then ice when it freezes over. For residents interested in learning more about how they can decrease the amount of salt that's being introduced to the environment, I'd encourage them to contact Bloomington Public Works Engineering.